Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Before we begin, let me know what has been your experience in learning the English language over the years? Is it crazy? Is it fun? Is it enjoyable? Is it something you've always looked forward to? Yes? Unanimous yes? Jolene? As for me, I still hate learning English grammar. Even though I grew up in an English-speaking home, I hate learning English grammar. I think it's because English grammar is very tricky. English grammar is very complicated. Unlike other languages where it's more structured and, if you follow the rules, you'll follow a sequence and you get your answers right. But English grammar is tricky and I still hate it. Okay? Just watch this video.
G H is pronounced different ways.
Ricky Ricardo. Here, honey, I'll show you what I mean. Now, you take this book and pretend that our child has come to you and said, Daddy, read me a good night story. Now, you are Daddy.
Once upon a time, in the woods lived a peasant. He was a good man with a noble heart. He spent his time in the forest, cutting down bushes from the trees. Cutting wood off.
Wait. What is this booges?
Bushes, right there.
That's boughs.
B-O-U-G-H, bow.
Right.
Wow.
He spent his time in the forest, cutting down boughs from the trees. Cutting wood all day made his hands strong and rough. One day,
That's rough.
spelled the same way as the other. O-U-G-H.
That's right. That shows how little you know about the English language.
So I made a little mistake. Made his hands strong and rough. One day he worked was so fast that by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, his day's work was through. When the
Hold it, Shakespeare.
through,
T-H-R-O-U-G-H. Pronounced true.
true, that's what I always say. Now stop thinking of me. When do you get me all confused? His day's work was through. It started to rain on the way home, and he got so wet that his nose became red, and he developed a hacking. Who? Well, I know it can't be cow.
Cough.
Oh, that's it. I don't know. Or should I say canoe? I don't see why you have to have such a crazy language anyway. In Spanish, you don't have all those ow, o, ooh sounds. In Spanish, you got a sound, it sounds the same all the time. You write it the same way, it sounds the same way. No matter what you put in, it comes out the same way.
Okay. By that you realize that English is not a phonetic language. So in other words, you write a word in a particular way and yet you pronounce it in a different way. Hindi, Konkani, and as he said, Spanish, for that matter, even French and Portuguese, all of them are phonetic. I'll tell you a short experience. Now at my internship, one of the science teachers comes up to me and he's like, the English language has 26 letters, but why do we have 44 sounds to it? And I was dumbstruck. I'm like, perhaps that's because the English language borrows so heavily from other languages. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. Perhaps Sister Millie will tell us why. Okay, and you realize that English is not phonetic. There's so many things that are confusing even to native speakers of the language, even to first language learners. Okay, and for today's lesson, it's more a lesson for our age group because it's not dealt with at the school level. I wanted to touch upon mistakes that we all commonly make. Okay, and there's a short disclaimer that none of the mistakes are to point out that you're wrong and okay, you're wrong. Basically speaking, you're wrong, but it's not to humiliate you and tease you that what you're writing is incorrect. But it's a gentle prod for you to move in the right direction when it comes to pronunciation and when it comes to spelling. So today's lesson is all about confusing or the confusables in the English language. Okay. These words are commonly, but when you speak, you call them confusables. It's a very colloquial term, okay? Confusables is an informal term. So as I said, when you speak it, you use it. You will not find the Queen saying this because the Queen feels that she speaks the Queen's English, okay? And these are words that are very easily confused with one another because of their near similarity in pronunciation, okay? They are very similar in pronunciation, and that's where most mistakes occur because they're pronounced in a similar way, you'll tend to write it the way you hear it, okay? So this is what causes lots of confusion when it comes to the written word. So you hear it and you write it. Like some teacher in my school at internship, she pronounces ask. She says asked, and if a child is given a spelling bee, the child will write it as AKS. So she is pronouncing it incorrectly, so it will translate to the child writing it incorrectly, okay? As I said, similar sounding words can be very difficult to spell. Now, the English language uses lots of words that they look the same, they sound the same, or very nearly the same. Now, if you recognize the differences in pronunciation, perhaps that will help you spell better. This creature is already confused here. Now, let's look at the noun and verb confusions. As I said, the words are very similar or identical in pronunciation, and that's where most learners tend to make mistakes in the spelling because they hear it in the same manner. And yet, if you understand those small changes, they will help you better in realizing that a noun is a different part of speech and a verb is a different part of speech. Let's look at some of the most common examples. I've taken just a few. The English language is vast, where you can pick out so many examples. And each of these examples I'll be doing one at a time, so you won't find both the examples on the same page at the same time. Let's look at advice, okay? Advice, C-E. So pronounce it with the vice, advice. That's a noun, okay? The noun refers to guidance, or when you seek you want somebody to counsel you. Look at the example. Their advice was helpful. Everybody pronounce it? Advice, okay? Anybody wants to make a sentence for practice? You can try. Talita?
I take advice from my elders.
Okay, very good. Now let's look at the verb form. It's advise. The verb is advise. You seek advice and somebody advises you. The verb is to offer suggestions. I asked her to advise me. So you have advice and you have advise. So remember the difference. Effect. This is also a very mispronounced word in the English language. Okay, effect is a noun. It means a result or an action of an action. Okay. The protest had a positive effect. So this is the noun. Let's look at the verb. Affect. You are affected by something. But remember, effect can also be a verb. You effect change. As I said, the English language is not structured. You borrow so heavily from other languages, and that's when you realize that some nouns can also be verbs. Affect is to have an impact on. The fight affected him badly. Effect and affect. Pronounce it.
Effect.
You get the difference? Now, some words are very often confused whether to write them as one word or you write it as two words. But they have very different meanings. These phrases have very different meanings. So do not confuse the two. Already. Okay. This is prior to a specific point in time. Already. Our passports have already been inspected. Already. One is already and one is already. Remember the space between the two words? So there's a pause between the two words. Already and already. Already is completely or thoroughly prepared. We are all ready to board the plane. Kimberly, can you make a pair of sentences with already and already?
We are already late
Yes.
and we are all ready for the party.
Good. Altogether. It means completely, on the whole. The song was altogether inappropriate, maybe for a particular event. And you have altogether. Remember, again, there's a space, so there's a pause between the sentence, between the phrases. This means that everyone or everything together, clubbed together. Let's look at a sentence. The paintings were exhibited all together for the first time. Melissa, can you give me a pair of sentences with these two phrases?
The singers sang all together.
Which one? Which all together?
The second one.
Tell me the first.
And for the first one, the answer was altogether inappropriate.
Or wrong? Yes. Good. This one is the most abused, I think, my personal opinion. You have everyday, it's ordinary or typical. You are wearing everyday clothes around the house, every day. And on the other side, you have every day. Remember, when you see that space, think of it as a pause. Every day. Each day. We go to internship every day. Okay, except Sundays. I need to use a hair dryer every day after my shower. Okay, I don't. The person who made the sentence does. there are words that are mispronounced because of their near similarity in spelling. It's a near similarity, it's not totally the same. Because of the near similarity, people think they sound very similar, but they don't. They mean very different things. So learn the sound of it, so that will translate into your spelling the word correctly. Let's look at the difference between three words. You learn the spelling, you learn the pronunciation also. You have though. It's another word for however. Samantha still wanted to go shopping though. Though you can also start the sentence with though. Okay. Thorough. No, through. This is from one end and into the other. What happened, Jolene? English is crazy, right? He walked through the crowd. We walked through the tunnel. How is this one pronounced? Thorough. Not thorough. I've heard it being pronounced thorough. It's thorough. Something that's well done or complete. We conducted a thorough investigation. Pronounce the three words.
Do, through, and thorough.
Thorough. Quit. To leave something. Usually permanently. We quit the job. We do not know why she quit her job. Quit. The Quit India movement. Is it the Quiet India movement or is it the Quiet India movement? It's quit. You have quiet. How many times have you heard a teacher yell at her students, everybody be quiet? It is not quiet, it is quiet. You make little or no noise. Yes, it's quiet. Don't worry, it'll be fine. It seemed eerily quiet along the street. Quiet. What's the last one? Quiet. Quiet and quiet are the, out of the three, quiet and quiet are mispronounced on an almost daily basis. This usually refers to the greatest extent or degree, quite. The story made quite an impression on the young students. So you have quiet and you have quite. Jolene, can you make me, don't take the first one. Let's take the second one and the third one. You can try. I accept your mistakes. Try. Melissa?
The students were sitting quietly in the classroom.
Quietly, okay. Quite. Any of you can answer.
It has been quite a long time since I met you.
Good. Now you'd like to try? No? Now these words are commonly misused. It's just a handful. Very often we use these words incorrectly in inappropriate situations or manners. These words are also used interchangeably sometimes, and that's where most mistakes occur. When you use something interchangeably, it results in a mistake. My favorite words. This is something I did for the internship way back in 2019. I did it with my 6th standard students, and I still remember they kept stumbling over its and it's with an apostrophe. So we kept stumbling over the sentences, and finally we came up with a sentence. I'll tell you the sentence soon. The it's without the apostrophe is used to show possession of something. The duck and its babies, ducklings, okay? It's without the apostrophe. The horse hurt its hooves. And then you have it's with the apostrophe. It's a contracted, a short form for it is. It's been a long, long time. Who'd like to attempt a pair of sentences? Talita?
The baby was playing with its fingers. And,
Yes.
It's quite difficult to solve maths equations.
Very good. So the pronunciation is the same. And the student at my internship gave, I still remember her name, she's Esther, and she gave her sentence started with, the bangle lost its shine. It's without the apostrophe. That's what they kept stumbling over. Okay? How many times you've used childish for a child? Childish is not used for children. It's used for adults. Silly or immature. His childish habits were disliked by us. Childlike. This is used for grown-ups. Innocent and trusting. She has a childlike enthusiasm. So don't use childish for a child. It's used more for adults when you say, stop that childish behavior. Compliment. Flattering words or acts of behavior. Everybody loves a compliment, don't we? What's compliment? You've learned it in math. Something that completes or makes something perfect or a whole. A good wine is a complement to a good meal. Those of you who drink wine will agree to this. With this, agreed with something. Beside. This means nearby or at the side of something. I place my journal beside my bed every night. Besides, on the other hand, in addition to, as well as. She wants to learn other languages besides English and French. See beside and you have besides. Okay? This is just a GIF. How many of you like Friends? The TV show. You've not watched Friends? Melissa? Akilia has watched? Am I so ancient that I love the old stuff? And everybody's all newbie. I bring a TV show, movie clipping. It's not a movie, it's a TV show, and that was so old. And now you don't know what's Friends?
We know what's Friends. We don't watch it.
Not much. This GIF is not playing. I'll send it in the group. Who agrees with that? Reading is breathing for the mind. No, Jolene? You don't like reading? You like reading. But you agree with that quote? No, I don't think you do. Let's evaluate your pronunciation skills. This is more about pronunciation. First one, Akelia, can you read that?
The farm was cultivated to produce.
No. To produce? Produce. To produce, the verb. The last one is a noun, produce. Crops. Next one. Carlton, you'd like to try?
The dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse.
More refuse. Refuse is garbage. To refuse is the verb. Refuse is the noun. See, this is why English is crazy. You might as well accept it. Akelia?
The insurance was invalid for the invalid in
The insurance was invalid for the invalid. Invalid. Jolene is hating English now. Invalid and invalid, the patient in the hospital. Kimberly? You can try.
How can I intimate this to my most intimate friend?
Pronounce the second one again. I will not give it out.
Intimate.
Intimate, very good. To intimate is the verb. Intimate is a dear friend, a cherished friend. Intimate and to intimate. Talita?
I had to subject the subject to a series of tests.
I had to subject the subject to a series of tests. To subject is the verb. Subject is a noun. Jolene?
I read it once and I will read it again.
Very good. See, you must try. Melissa?
There was a row among the horsemen about how to row.
There was a row, a conflict, a fight among the oarsmen about how to row. Row and row. To row, the verb. Row, a noun. Okay? Can someone read? Akelia, read this aloud.
If the English language made any sense,
Lackadaisical.
lackadaisical would have something to do with a shortage of floods.
Doug Larson. You understood the quote. If the English language made any sense, lackadaisical would come to mean a shortage of flowers. Look at, what flower is that? It's a daisy. It's a daisy.
What is the meaning of
Lazy. So, daisies, flowers. So, if the English language made any sense, lackadaisical would come to mean a shortage of flowers. Lack is a shortage. Here's your homework. These are again tricky words, confusables. Illicit and illicit. One is a noun, one is a verb. But remember, illicit can also be a verb. Envelope and envelop. Envelope and envelop. Lightning and lightning. Lightening. Device and devise. Advice and advise. Access and excess. Access, excess. Canvas and canvas. One is a noun and one is a verb. The second one, the one with the double S, is used when during elections when you canvass for a particular candidate. Canvas is like you saw the painting in Samuel's lesson, that's a canvas. A while and a while. Council and council. Council is a body, a corporation. Council is to advise someone. Confident and confident. Confidant. How many of you have pronounced confidant in Margao as confident? The bookshop. It is not confident, it's confidant. Formally and formally. Thank you.